All right, man, peace. So now the world famous promoter, Bob Arum, he made a couple of appearances on television to promote the upcoming fight for his legendary fighter, Manny Pacquiao. And he also spoke on some other issues. Of course, he spoke on the upcoming Floyd Mayweather against Conor McGregor fight, as well as speaking on the fight between Canelo and Triple G. These are all fights that I'm going to be covering as they build up. So let's see what he had to say.
I'm stealing the show every time. You can just put me in any ring, I will come out victorious. Mayweather versus McGregor.
Jump up, drag Floyd Mayweather out there and see what he's out of here.
That's the only fight that I won talking trash to an opponent. That's me. That's been me for the longest, for 15 years. Since I've been in the sport of boxing, and since I've been dominating in the sport of boxing.
He needs me. I don't need him. I wanted to come over here to America and show the American public the new era of the fighting Irish.
The highest pay-per-view, that's Floyd Mayweather. I'm young, I'm fly, I'm flashy, I'm rich.
People always think it's a game or it's an act. I'm just simply the best fighter, and that's it.
I'm just a special artist that paints a beautiful picture. We are willing to give him $15 million.
That's a pay cut to me.
Bring him over to the boxing world, and I'll show him what it's like.
Our next guest is a household name, a veteran in the sweet science, having spent 50 years as a boxing promoter. We welcome founder and CEO of Top Rank Promotions, Bob Arum, who joins us from LA to promote the welterweight title fight between Manny Pacquiao and Jeff Horn in Australia. That will air on ESPN at 9 p.m. Eastern on July 1st. Bob, thank you so much for being with us.
Damn, how the mighty have fallen. Manny Pacquiao went from a guy who the mainstream sports media tried to push as being on the same level as Floyd Mayweather to now he's fighting on ESPN. I told you the man is a boxing crackhead. All right, he owes millions of dollars in taxes to both the Philippines and America. So Bob basically gonna string him out. He gonna string him out like a bottom bitch until Manny can't fight anymore. All right, that's how you treat a goyim 101. Goyim is the terminology that's used by the Caucasian Jews for the other races. That's how they treat them. All right, so let's see what old Bob has to say.
My pleasure to be here, Molly.
Before we get into your upcoming fight and new partnership with ESPN, which we're very excited about, we want to get your thoughts on another.
And just as an aside, these chicks on ESPN, they be killing me. It's like, and even on Fox Sports 1 also, it's like, are you a sports anchor, or are you like are you a woman of the night? Like, what's with all the see-through lace and all this other shit? Like, come on, get it together.
On another fight, Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor, set for August 26th. What does that fight do for boxing?
I know what it does for boxing. It makes a lot of money, I think, for the people putting it on. I don't think it's a very competitive boxing match.
Of course, because you're not promoting it, right? That's why Bob said that. I don't know what it does for boxing, but, it's going to make a lot of money. I know you wish that you were the one making the money.
But then again, nobody's putting a gun to anybody's head to make them buy the match. If people want to see it, they'll pay $90 or $100 and they'll watch it. So, it is what it is. And, I'm not offended by it, but I got to be honest about it. It's not very competitive.
No, you are offended about it. That's why you made that statement. You're mad and you're frustrated that at one time you had Floyd Mayweather, you had Oscar De La Hoya under your stable. They got frustrated, they left you, and they became bigger and more lucrative than they ever would have been under you. So not only are you frustrated that you're not able to monetize their talents, but they actually left you and cut you out as the middleman and have multiplied their money-making ability outside of your umbrella. So, of course, you're frustrated right now. You're thinking about all the hundreds of millions that you missed out on. Right, Bob?
Do you give McGregor any shot?
No.
I thought so. Max?
Molly, I told you, if you talk to someone who knows boxing, they will tell you.
I have to
As I
ask.
said, McGregor will not land a single punch. Not a real punch, maybe deflected on the arm. He ain't going to hit Mayweather with a single clean punch.
This dude talks so much shit. Motherfucker ain't never been in the ring a day in his life. He's always talking shit about who's going to land a punch or who's not. All right, two guys get in the ring. They put on gloves. They trained for 8 weeks. Conor McGregor, no, he's not anywhere near on the level of Floyd as a boxer. But this man has trained day in and day out for years in various forms of combat. Do I expect him to lose? Yes. Do I expect him to get outclassed? Most likely. Do I expect him to not land a punch? Like, come on. Give me a break. He's going to land something. At some point in the fight, he's going to land.
And Floyd will knock him out as he pleases. But
I would love to see Floyd knock him out. But at 40-some years old, 40 years old, it wouldn't shock me if Floyd just goes to victory, just goes to all 12 rounds. Maybe tries to get him into deep water, tries to see how his conditioning base is. Floyd going to play it by ear. But Floyd ain't going to come out in the first 2 rounds trying to knock that guy out. He going to feel him out, see how he reacts to his feints.
Bob, did you see the fight, the Ward-Kovalev fight on Saturday night?
No, I didn't. But I heard a lot about it.
No, I didn't. I was too busy snorting coke and having an orgy.
And, I'm a big Andre Ward fan.
Allegedly.
And I think he's a tremendous fighter, and he's a great young man.
Well, if you didn't see it, then I won't ask you the question because there's some controversy. Kathy Duva, Kovalev's promoter, for people who don't know, is appealing because she feels that the fight was ended prematurely on low blows.
But Kovalev ain't want anymore. He didn't want no more of that smoke. All right? Kovalev was done. He was happy when the ref stopped the fight. Like I said, Andre hit him with a right hand across the jaw, had that man shaking like Elvis. All right? That motherfucker was doing a jailhouse rock.
I thought it was a tremendous performance by Andre Ward. Bob, here's my question to you about Ward before I'm sure Stephen A. has some Triple G and Canelo questions. Andre Ward's an Olympic gold medalist. He hasn't lost a fight, amateur or pro, since he was 14 years old. He's undefeated. He's a miracle worker in the ring. He's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And yet he's not a household name, at least not yet, to general sports fans. He also hasn't been promoted by you. And you've been very good at building up fighters into household names, even at times when boxing's been marginalized in this country. There are countless examples, most recently Oscar De La Hoya and then Floyd Mayweather. What would you have done differently with Andre Ward so far, were you his promoter?
Well, when you promote somebody as talented as Andre Ward, you have to give him exposure. It's exposure, and it's more exposure. And that's what we've done with the people that we've promoted, like Oscar, like Floyd, like Manny Pacquiao. We've given them exposure.
Yeah, but you know what? What Bob also is what he's going to leave out is that Andre has a very vanilla image. His image is hard to sell. Why is that? Because he's a so-called black man who has a family image, and that's very, very difficult to sell. You can sell that image when you're dealing with fighters of other races, but when it comes to a so-called black fighter, that image is difficult. I'm not going to say that it's impossible to sell, because that was predominantly the image of Ray Leonard when Ray Leonard first came to the forefront. That he was the smiley, the smiley, happy, very, very approachable black male athlete with the family, and he was the black male athlete of the late 70s that the mainstream Caucasian audience in America would have welcomed into their homes. All right, so I'm not saying that image is impossible to sell, but it was much easier to sell in the late 70s than it would be now. All right, Ward has a very, very vanilla image. And I don't say that to castigate him at all or to denigrate him at all. He has a hard image to push on an audience. They have to create a narrative. With De La Hoya, he was the Mexican-American fighter, the so-called pretty boy. His mother had passed. That was a major narrative back in the 92 Olympics. With Mayweather, it was Mayweather is the new Ray Leonard, the new Pernell Whitaker. All right, and still Mayweather had a hard time catching on. All right. Mayweather really didn't catch on to the masses until the De La Hoya fight when he cast himself as the villain. All right, so it's very difficult to see. It's very easy to see why Andre Ward is he's not really known to the masses, and it's very difficult to figure out what type of narrative they would create for him, because they would have to create a narrative. It's not just about exposure. They would also have to create a narrative for him. Right now, Triple G, he's the headhunter. He's the killer. He fights Mexican style. He wants to brawl with everybody. Right? All this is about is show business. And in show business, you must create a narrative. Bob knows that. I mean, Bob promoted Ali, so he knows what it's like to have a fighter that you don't even have to promote, because Ali promoted himself. Right? Arum really was just there to schedule the fights and find the venues when it comes to Ali.
You're around the clock. You have to work it. You have to work at it all the time.
You gotta work it, kid. You gotta be like a good hoe. You gotta walk that strip. Make my money. Make my money. You gotta work it.
Time. You can't just do it for the few weeks leading up to the athlete's fight. If I had been promoting Andre Ward, I think he would have been a lot more popular than he is now. He's a great, great fighter, and he's a terrific, terrific young man.
I would have had him like a bottom bitch. I'd have had him out there just making all kinds of money. Just, I don't understand these guys. They're leaving all this money on the table. Scared money don't make money. Shake that ass. Watch yourself. People don't know one of my best friends is mystical. Show me what you're working with.
I mean, he is as a role model and as a personality. You can't get better than Andre Ward.
But he's not making money.
Bob, always good to see you, buddy. Let me ask you this question, and I'll get to Canelo and Triple G later. But I want to get to Pacquiao, because that's your fighter. Obviously, he's fighting in Brisbane, Australia. Looking forward to that. Congratulations on the new deal with ESPN. Here's my question. Pacquiao against Joe Horn. Now, I know Joe Horn is a respectable guy and what have you, but when you think of Jeff, I apologize.
Jeff Horn, not Joe Horn. You damn schwartz. What if I called you Stanley A. Smith? Would you like that? Son of a bitch, you're messing with my money, Stephen A.
Jeff, I apologize. It's just that when I think about Pacquiao, I not only think about Mayweather, I also think about the young lions in this game, the Terrence Crawfords of the world, the Errol Spence Jr.'s of the world, the Kell Brooks of the world. What is the future for Manny Pacquiao? Where's his mindset right now? Where's your mindset as it pertains to Manny Pacquiao?
My mindset's where it's always been, Stephen A. It's about getting every drop out of that damn Filipino. I gotta rape him. I gotta get every last drop. 'Cause, the hourglass is draining on Manny Pacquiao, Stephen A. And don't bring up Floyd's name again. I don't talk about hoes I don't own. Alright? You receding hairline having bastard.
Stephen, a good question. First of all, this is the first fight that Manny's had that's been on free-to-air television, thanks to ESPN. He hasn't had a fight in 11 years that people haven't paid for. His last fight was on HBO.
Yeah, because he's broke, Bob. I mean, come on, let's be for real. The man is broke. He's not generating money, so you can't put him on these other channels anymore. I mean, he's acting like Manny's out there giving out free turkeys to the kids or some shit. Manny needs the money. That's why he's going to Australia to fight somebody named Jeff Horn. The hell out of here. He might as well be fighting Lena Horn.
11 years ago. So this is an opportunity for the public to get reacquainted with Manny Pacquiao, and they'll have a tremendous, tremendous audience on July 1st. And he's fighting a really good, tough kid in Jeff Horn.
No, he's fighting a dude who's a borderline amateur. Come on. Jeff Horn. Who the hell ever fighting him out there in Brisbane, Australia? You know you finish when you going to Australia to fight. Like Roy Jones went to Australia to fight and got knocked out. Like, you know, it's almost the end for Manny. Let's be for real. You kind of hoping, really Bob wants Manny to win so that he can cash him out and finally get him in the ring with Crawford. That's really what he wants. He wants to get Crawford. He wants Crawford to win this last fight at 140, unify the belts, and he wants Manny to get through this easy fight, and he's going to put it on the table. He's going to say, Manny, you dumb son of a bitch. I've stuck with you back when you were butt naked running around in the jungles of Quezon City. You're going to do what I tell you. You're going to fight Terrence Crawford. Oh, I promise you. The Filipino government's going to bury you so far under the jail for tax evasion, you're really going to believe in Christ, because you're going to be dead. You're going to have to resurrect yourself, you son of a bitch. You're going to sign that contract.
Now, if he beats Horn, and if he looks good beating Horn, then down the road, there's Terrence Crawford.
Didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you that's who he's setting him up for? He wants Manny to fight Terrence Crawford. He wants him to win this fight against this easy dude and get in there with Terrence Crawford and get his ass whooped.
There's Spence. He will go into those fights. But those fights become very, very expensive.
Look, let me tell you something. If Manny get in there with Terrence, with that boy Spence, I hope that he have his will written out for his wife. I hope that somebody's lined up to take over for him as a congressman in the Philippines, because Errol Spence, everybody he get in there with, he hurts. I mean, he even hurts Mayweather in sparring. Like that dude. And I mean, I have my criticisms of Spence. He doesn't move his head enough. You know, sometimes he looks for the power shot a little too much. But I saw everything I needed to see when he took Kell Brook shots, because Kell Brook hits as hard as anybody, including Pacquiao. Kell Brook is a huge dude who's extremely strong, and he took them shots. He's going to be able to take. But Manny's different though. Like Kell's big and strong. Manny's powerful. Manny has huge hands, big fists, and strong legs. So Manny's power is kind of like, you know, he got that crazy power. So, you know, he might, I mean, it'll be a great fight long as it lasts if he makes it to Spence. But Bob wants to cash his ass out on Terrence Crawford, or with Terrence Crawford.
And we can't do them on free television. We have to do them on pay-per-view in order to pay the fighters what the fighters would want in a fight like that. And
also so that you can get paid, Bob. Be for real.
This fight, because of the Brisbane tourist board, because of Queensland tourist minister, we are being subsidized by the government in Australia. There'll be close to 60,000 people in attendance, and we therefore can afford to show this fight for free as a July 4th weekend gift, thanks to ESPN and Manny Pacquiao.
And you getting most of the proceeds from the ticket sales, right, Bob? All right, let's be for real. Oh, man. 60,000 screaming Australians. You think we can get maybe some in-between round entertainment? We can get like a kangaroo in there or something? Let's be creative.
Yeah. Okay. Now let me get to
Terrence Crawford.
Go ahead, Max.
Speaking of Terrence Crawford, quickly, Bob, should he get that fight against Pacquiao, many people see that as a potential breakthrough fight in terms of reaching a mainstream audience. He may be as likely as anyone in boxing to supplant Andre Ward as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. He and your other fighter, Lomachenko.
God damn, Andre Ward just got the top spot officially. You already ready to unseat him? See, didn't I say in that video when in the Ward Kovalev video that I did, when Andre Ward asked Max, am I number one now? And what did Max say? Tonight? I mean, shit, you already ready to give up the damn number one ranking? Like, let the man enjoy it. that shows you that HBO is not, they're not really settled on Ward. He's not one of their guys. All right. They prefer their guys to come through Arum because he has the Caucasian Jew connection. That's why they pump up Lomachenko, and also why they pump up Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford is a great fighter, but I mean, let's be for real. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that notable touchstone fight. I give him credit for what he did to that dude. What's that dude's name? The tall, lanky dude, the tall, lanky European dude that he beat a couple fights ago. That was a great win for him. But just the fact that I can't remember his name shows that really wasn't a touchstone fight. Like how, Floyd had a lot of those fights early on. He had Corrales, he had Castillo. Then of course he moved up. He had Gotti. He had a lot of those fights. He had a lot of those touchstone fights. Terrence hasn't really had those fights yet. He needs one of those fights. He needs the Pacquiao fight, and Terrence is not a young pup. Terrence is pushing 30. Like, he has to make it happen now.
Has Crawford made it clear to you that that's the fight he wants, Manny Pacquiao?
Absolutely, Terrence wants Manny Pacquiao. Terrence wants the best. Terrence told me, I want Pacquiao, I want Spence, who's a terrific fighter, and I want Thurman.
If we can get that Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight by late 2018, that's gonna be the shit, brothers. I need to see that fight. But obviously, I don't think Terrence is going to get both Thurman and Spence, because I think that Thurman and Spence are going to fight before the end of this year. And that's going to determine who Crawford's going to try to fight next year. Or he may get both, and one of them might be a warm-up for the next guy. Who knows? But it's essential that he gets the belt from Pacquiao, because Pacquiao doesn't want to fight any of those guys. And Terrence Crawford does. He needs to.
The plan for Terrence Crawford is for him to be the first fighter in a long time to win all 4 belts at 140 pounds. We are close to arriving at a deal with the fighter from Africa, Ndingo.
His name is not Ndingo, Bob. It's Ndongo. All right? Your mind is so focused on Australia, you're thinking about them wild dogs out there, the dingoes. Get it together, Bob.
Who owns 2 of the belts. Terrence owns 2 of the other belts. So this will be a fight for all 4 belts. If Terrence is successful in that fight, I think he will move up 7 pounds to welterweight, and then waiting would be Manny Pacquiao, Spence, Thurman, and guys like that.
So let me go. I got you. So Pacquiao's not talking about moving down to 145 or catch weight or 145 or anything like that. If Crawford wanted to fight him, he'd have to fight him at 147. Is that what you're saying?
Of course, because there's not going to be an advantage for Manny to move down to 145 to fight Crawford, because Crawford is moving up. That's not going to be a big deal for Manny. Manny wants to bring guys down to 145 who are used to having to come down and weight, who struggle to make 147.
Yeah, but you have to understand, Manny Pacquiao goes at the weigh-in, weighs 144, 145 pounds. After eating breakfast, he has to eat like 8,000 calories a day just to keep his weight up to 147. So, Manny Pacquiao could make 140 pounds easily without any problem. So the weight's really not a factor.
Bullshit. If he can make 140, that's where he'd be fighting at. All right? He can't make 140. What it is that he's trying to play off of the I'm small for my weight class. So really the perfect fight weight for him is around 144, 145. That's common. Mayweather in his heyday would normally come into the weigh-in at 146. When guys settle into a weight class, they settle into a particular weight. Everybody's so accustomed to people just making weight that when fighters, people have to understand a weight class is anywhere from the lowest part of the weight class to the uppermost part of the weight class. It's not just one weight. You don't have to be 147 to fight at welterweight. Welterweight is anywhere in between 140.1 and 147 pounds.
Quick, let's get in Triple G Canelo. Stephen A., you have a question?
Yeah, who you got, Bob? Who's winning that fight?
Well,
I got whoever's making me money. You guys keep asking me about shit I don't care about.
I like Golovkin, Triple G. I like Triple G. Oh.
Because he reminds me of money. I love the G's. I got about 10 G's in my pocket right now. So when I hear Triple G, I think about money.
Overwhelmingly about a year ago. But, you know, athletes get old, and Golovkin is beginning to show signs of getting old. I still like him in the fight. It's a terrific fight. So I would go with Triple G, but not as strongly as I would a year ago.
It's almost time to take Triple G off that track. He's sold a lot of good ass, but you know, comes a time you gotta take a hoe off the track and, I don't know, maybe have her shine some shoes or something. That's what I do.
All right, Bob, thank you so much, and congrats again on the new partnership with ESPN, and we appreciate that free fight, us fans. Talk to you soon.
My pleasure. Nice being with you guys.
Bob just looked happy to be alive with his old ass. All right, so now Bob he also made an appearance on the Jalen and Jacoby show, so I decided to include that in this video. So let's see what Bob has to say.
We don't have guests on this show. So when we have a guest, you know they are good. Joining us now.
Or they just desperate to promote their product. You acting like y'all don't have guests because y'all just are so busy bringing out your message. No, y'all don't have guests because y'all are upcoming. I don't like their show, but I mean, come on. It's not like anybody say, oh, damn, we got to make the Jalen and Jacoby show.
Now on the Shell Pennzoil Performance line, legendary businessman and boxing promoter, Bob Arum. Bob, thank you so much for making the time to join Jalen and I.
Thank you. I'm legendary because I'm old, right?
That's usually how it goes. That's usually how it goes. Yeah, that's usually how it goes.
You're legendary because you're not a businessman. You're a businessman.
Right.
Bob is like, Jalen, what the fuck are you talking about, man? What is that? I don't listen to that hippity-hop shit.
And the business you're here to discuss with us is literally with us because your fight is going to be here on ESPN on July 1st. Who are we going to watch?
Well, Manny Pacquiao hasn't been on free over-the-air television in 11 or 12 years. And thanks to ESPN and Manny, his fight with Jeff Horn from Australia will be live on ESPN.
Manny don't really give a fuck what he's on. Manny don't even care what he's on. Manny don't even know if he's on TV or not. Manny be like, Bob, what channel are we going to be on? Bob said, Manny, you're not making money. So we got to get you on ESPN. ESPN, what is that? That channel? Is that people fight there? Manny, get the fuck out of my office. Okay.
And starting 9 p.m. New York time and 6 p.m. California West Coast time.
That's exciting. Why did you and Mr. Pacquiao decide that this was going to be the fight that was going to go on over-the-air television?
Boxing really needs the most exposure that it can get.
And the market dictated that it be on ESPN, Bob. Be real. You're a businessman. You understand the money system. It's all about dividends and surpluses. All right, you already know you have a certain budget, how much you can afford to spend, and you have to broadcast your fights based on how much you can afford to spend. Stop bullshitting.
And Manny Pacquiao has a tremendous audience in the United States and around the world. And we felt that if we could get Manny on free-to-air television on ESPN, the leader in sports, it would do great for Manny Pacquiao for the future, and it would be really great for the sport of boxing.
What that translates as, HBO did not want to pay him anywhere near what he was used to, so we had to find a way to scrape something up We're trying to salvage Manny's image. We're trying to get him one last decent fight before I sacrifice him to Terrence Crawford.
Well, we're very excited about this. Hopefully the start of a long partnership. But we don't need an introduction to Manny Pacquiao. Even casual boxing fans, even not even sports fans, everyone knows Manny Pacquiao. Tell us who Jeff Horn is and why he will make a good fight.
Good.
Jeff Horn he's an incredible punching bag. You know, we were at Everlast. We were looking for new boxing equipment. And we saw Jeff Horn. He was swinging from a ceiling. There was a chain attached to the top of his damn head. He was a heavy bag. So I said, I'll take it. How much? That's how we found Jeff Horn.
Jeff Horn was a member of the Australian Olympic team.
Yeah, he brought the water to the team. He was the water boy, Bob. He didn't fight.
He's a tough kid. He was a school teacher.
Look at this guy. He looked like he's in a boy band. The fuck is this?
Retired from being a school
The man has a Superman curl on the top of his damn head.
School teacher. Really has a great right hand. He's fought top talent. He's beat guys who, fought Mayweather and fought top fighters.
Cut the bullshit out, Bob. He's... You mean he has gotten his ass whooped in sparring by guys who sparred Mayweather?
I saw him fight in October when I was in New Zealand for the Parker Andy Ruiz fight, and he can fight. He's really good. I'm not saying he's going to beat Manny Pacquiao, but he's going to give him a terrific fight.
I looked up a couple of clips of Jeff Horn. He looks like a basic fighter. He looks like one of these white guys who teaches boxing at the boxing gym. He doesn't look like he's a guy who's like a real fighter. It is what it is.
Bob, I was happy to see Manny back in the ring. I know he's dealt with some injuries over the last couple of years. How's he doing? And is he looking forward to doing more fights like this one?
I think he is. Boxing has become almost like an avocation to him, Jalen, because he's a senator in the Philippines. Now, that doesn't sound like much, but there are 24 senators, that's all. 12 get elected every 6 years. And he vowed to the people that he would never miss a session of the Senate. And he's kept to that promise. He can take this fight because it's when the Senate is in recess. He's introduced a lot of bills that have passed. He's a bright rising star in the Philippines, and I really believe that quite soon, within the next 5 or 6 years, he may very well be the president of the Philippines.
That'd be more of a reflection on the Philippines than his skill as a politician. Come on. What the fuck? Can you imagine Manny at the UN? So, do I get to nuke? Do I get to use nuclear weapon or no?
So we're blessed that he's part of the boxing scene. He'll be fighting July 1st, actually July 2nd in Australia, July 1st here. And hopefully, again, by the end of the year and then into next year. And he is looking to fight here guys like Terrence Crawford, who...
You mean you're planning on getting him in there with Terrence Crawford, all right? You want Terrence Crawford to whoop his ass so that them big boned ass women in his family can be out there doing the buffalo.
Who is, as you know, one of the best fighters in the world. Errol Spence, another really terrific fighter. So Manny is not ready to hang him up yet. He's also not ready to do exhibitions. He's going to do real fights. That's a dig on his competitor.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, you still hating. That's okay. Floyd getting $400+ million to do an exhibition. All right? That's what you call being by far the greatest businessman in the history of sports. By far. Right now, Bob is like, God damn. Why didn't I think of that shit? Son of a bitch.
Shots fired.
One of the things that you do and you've done in your career is matching up athletes in one-on-one combative environments. Now, one of Manny's outside interests is basketball. So just in a hypothetical world, if we had a game between Manny Pacquiao and a way over the hill Jalen Rose, who would you think could win that basketball matchup?
Well, first let me tell Jalen a story because he'll appreciate it.
You're dodging the answer.
I was in the Philippines once when Manny was training. So he's fashions himself a great basketball player, and he is the owner of a team and plays on the team.
Yep.
So
Man, he shoot like a little kid. Look at that shit. Motherfucker brought the basketball all the way. Man almost knocked himself out, hitting himself in the back of the head with the ball.
So he asked me to watch a game where he was participating in, and I've never seen anything like it in my life. He got...
Look at Manny. Manny think he's Steph Curry. Manny Curry with the shot, boy. Oh, I'm nice with the handle.
He got the ball thrown to him maybe 50 times. He has never passed once. Never. It's always was up in the basket. Now, once in a while, he drove to the basket, and nobody would touch him because they didn't want to hurt him. I've never seen a game like that.
That's like watching Barack Obama's games. I get it.
Yeah, exactly.
He might be president of the Philippines one day.
Yeah, Manny has a pretty good shot, and he has a lot of energy and enthusiasm. But as old as Jalen is, I don't think Manny can match him.
Well, you made a brief allusion to the fight that is going to be McGregor Mayweather. What do you think will happen on that night?
They'll make a lot of money because people will buy something that is promoted well, which this will be promoted well. They're not going to see very much of a fight. I mean, for example, I've told people it's a different sport. For one of the great athletes I've ever seen is LeBron James. Mm-hmm. Tremendous. Now, if I put LeBron James in a boxing match with Anthony Joshua, say, it wouldn't be a contest.
LeBron James wouldn't last one round. He wouldn't last one round. With all the working out and running that he does, he wouldn't last, condition-wise, he wouldn't last one round. All right, the boxing, the conditioning level of a boxer is completely different from any other sport. Completely different. He wouldn't last one round. You know, one time Muhammad Ali, when he was over in England to fight Henry Cooper for their rematch, and he also fought Brian London, he was in England at the same time as Jim Brown, when Jim Brown was filming The Dirty Dozen. And you know, Ali and Jim Brown, they were cool. And one time he and Jim Brown were in the parking lot with somebody else, and that other person, I can't remember who it was, I believe it was a media person, some journalist, brought up the notion of Jim Brown and Ali fighting. And Ali matter-of-factly said Jim would have no chance whatsoever. And Ali even looked at Jim and he told Jim, try to hit me. And Jim Brown tried to hit him with about 10 punches. He threw about 10 punches and he didn't even come close to hitting Ali. And he was tired after he threw those punches because the type of conditioning involved with boxing is just different from other sports, which are normally interval sports, particularly football. Right? Boxing is continuous motion, mentally and physically. It's just completely different, as Bob knows.
LeBron, no matter how great an athlete he is, it's a different sport. We've had experiences where guys like Too Tall Jones would go into boxing, and they really couldn't fight a lick because they had to learn the sport, the nuances. Conor McGregor is a great MMA performer, but in a boxing match, he doesn't have any chance to hit Floyd Mayweather in the behind.
He has a chance. It's just an extremely slim chance, but he has a chance. All right, there's no such thing as no chance. The only people who are saying that are people who've never been in a ring before.
He's not going to touch him. I mean, Floyd Mayweather is one of the great fighters of our time, but even if Conor McGregor was fighting a 6-round fighter, he wouldn't have a chance. It's a different sport.
Makes a lot of sense. Don't forget, Manny Pacquiao's title defense will be aired right here on ESPN. Pacquiao will face Australia's Jeff Horn in Brisbane, with the fight airing live in the United States on Saturday, July 1st at 9 p.m. Eastern.
And the thing that's important, it's free.
It's free.
Of course it's free, because Manny's broke, and you trying to squeeze that last drop out of that grape before it becomes a raisin.
You don't have to pay for it. Thanks to ESPN, you'll be able to watch it without going into your pocket.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Look, Manny, don't fuck this up. We got one last chance for a big payday. You and Crawford, get it done.
Thank you so much for joining us and spending time.
It was great having
Thanks a lot, Bob. We
Great
appreciate
being
you.
here. Thank you, Jalen.
But anyway, that's old Bob talking on various topics in boxing. Peace.